Is milk good for you? Coming right up. Hey, I'm Dr. Rasan with Get a Healthy Body. If you'd like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Milk has long been regarded as a basic food group that we should all consume. So, let's look at some of the arguments for and against it. And then I'll wrap it up with my opinion and experience. Milk is produced by mammals, and humans are mammals. From that perspective, it's a very natural, very innate food for us. However, that would also make human milk innate for us, while cow's milk and milk from other species may or may not be suitable. Just because it's from another species doesn't necessarily make it bad. Then we have the issue of weaning. Humans are the only animals that have attempted to drink milk into adulthood. Mammals produce milk for their young, making it the most convenient food during a growth period. So, from that perspective, it's a bit unnatural for us to continue drinking milk. But again, that's not necessarily an argument for why it should be bad or good. Calcium has long been the #1 argument. Oh, you're going to get osteoporosis. You can't get enough calcium if you don't drink milk. But that argument is actually misleading. Calcium is present in milk, but it is very poorly absorbable from it. If milk has all that calcium and cows don't drink milk, then where do they get it? Exactly. From green stuff. Vegetables and leafy greens have tons of calcium, and that calcium is actually much more bioavailable than it is in milk. What it really comes down to regarding milk is how natural it is. If it comes straight from nature, then in my experience, it's a pretty good food. But if we change it, then it can become a terrible food. This brings us to the debate of raw versus pasteurized milk. Raw milk is alive. It contains bacteria like lactobacillus, which are beneficial for repopulating our gut and defending against pathogenic bacteria. It helps maintain balance and has enzymes that aid in breaking down the proteins in milk, making it easier to digest. However, if milk lacks these bacteria and enzymes, it becomes very difficult to digest. Pasteurized milk is sterile, all the bacteria are killed off. While we eliminate the supposedly bad bacteria, we also lose the good bacteria that help us process it. Pasteurized milk has no enzymes to help break it down, and it is also homogenized. In natural milk, the fat is in globules, floating around and separating if left to sit. This is nature's way of organizing that food for us. When we homogenize it, preventing the fat from separating, we change it. In my experience with muscle testing and clinical results, the body does much better with fat when it's floating around, as it does in raw milk, the way we normally get it from our mothers and other animals. There are many things in pasteurized milk that can change when we heat it. For example, proteins are very heat sensitive and can denature. If you think about an egg white, it's liquid at room temperature, but when we heat it to about 70 degrees Celsius, long before boiling, that protein turns solid. Similarly, while milk doesn't turn solid, the proteins denature and change, making them more difficult for our bodies to process. The reason some people have issues with milk is lactose intolerance. Not everyone loses their ability to break down lactose. Many people, especially Scandinavians, retain their lactase production and can break it down. In contrast, many Asians lose that ability. So, some cultures may be better at processing milk than others. People who really need to avoid milk are those with allergies to one of the two proteins, whey and casein. Casein is the protein that makes cheese and gives it its texture. When cheese is made, the whey is removed, leaving the casein. Some people are allergic to one, some to the other, and some to both. If you're allergic to whey, you may still tolerate cheese. But if you're allergic to both, you definitely need to avoid all dairy. There can also be sensitivities identified through clinical findings, muscle testing, and trial and error. In my opinion, pasteurization changes the availability of nutrients to the body, making it a burden and leading to sensitivities. Most people do well on raw dairy products, while many do poorly on pasteurized milk products. What I do is use raw milk and raw cheese if that's legal in your area. You could also incorporate fermented dairy, such as yogurt, kefir, and sour cream. Fermentation reintroduces bacterial cultures, re-establishing the normal culture and liveliness of the dairy, while building up enzymes that help break down the food again. So, is milk good for you? In my opinion and experience, if you use natural dairy products the way nature produces them, without pasteurization, most people can benefit from some amount of dairy. I don't think it's a superfood, nor should you base your diet on it, but I believe most people do well with some natural dairy. I think pasteurized dairy is one of the biggest problems we face today, as it contributes to allergies, rashes, eczema, headaches, and more. In kids, it can lead to infections, runny noses, and immune system challenges. Again, in my experience, these issues are primarily caused by pasteurized dairy. So use some natural dairy in moderation if you can find it, and stay away from pasteurized dairy as much as possible. Share this video with as many people as you can, and thanks for watching.